Thank you for joining me today. I am Elisa Bonet, creator and host of the Emerging Pearl Show. As a wellness advocate and lifestyle mentor, I am passionate about inspiring women to discover and reveal the pearl within by teaching them to embrace a life defined by love, passion, healing, and serenity. On my self-healing journey, I discovered that wellness involves a holistic approach of mind, body, and spirit. And there are many factors that can affect our wellness goals, both internally and externally. Today I have 3 incredible guests who will discuss healing spaces from the inside out through non-toxic, organized, sustainable living. Emily Guerrero is the owner and lead consultant at Clean Living Consulting. She is passionate about educating others on the importance of reducing toxicity in their homes and in their bodies to increase overall health and well-being. Also joining us today is Pivy Pantilla Vargas, a designer and organizer who creates functionality and serenity in a sustainable fashion by providing options and resources to help simplify your life. We also have Catherine Langstaff, a design partner at Autopoesis. She encourages personal healing by designing harmonious spaces using natural materials, subtle energy, and sacred geometry. I am thrilled that you are all here today to join me and shed light on this very important topic of living in a non-toxic, organized, and sustainable environment. I'm really passionate about this topic because I want to educate our viewers and give them safer alternatives for their health. So, Emily, I know that you're an agent of change and that you are a very well-versed advocate for clean living. Can you tell me what led you down this path and your passion for reducing toxins in your life?
A few impactful events happened in my life at a young age. First, my mom was involved in a chemical accident. She almost lost her vision completely, had to have some procedures done to repair nerves in her eyes after cleaning chemicals in the bathroom made their way into her contact lens case. And so that was something that really just opened my eyes, literally, to the fact that there are chemicals that we use all the time in our households that can be very dangerous and unsafe. And then when I went to college, I began to develop really severe eczema, which is something that I have struggled with my entire adult life. So I went to the traditional kind of places that I had always gone to. I went to see a doctor, I went to see a dermatologist, I was given all kinds of treatments, and none of them were working for me. So finally I decided to look into what are the causes? If this is an issue that I'm dealing with, I think it's a symptom of something that's deeper. And when I did the research, everything that I was reading about all pointed back to toxicity. So it just started me out on this path to want to know more.
What are some of the conditions or the symptoms that one might experience if you're actually toxic?
Unfortunately, I think that all of us are experiencing toxins every day in our lives through what we put into our body, what we have around us in our homes, our indoor and our outdoor environment. So it's not something that any of us are really free from. But the symptoms are things that are very kind of acute that you can tell in the moment. So someone might have asthma, respiratory issues because of the air that they're breathing in their indoor environment or their outdoor environment. They might experience irritation like I have with my eczema or other skin conditions. And a lot of other problems. I think maybe even a better question is what kind of conditions are not because of toxicity, because as I've started to really research it and look into it and learn, so many of the health issues that we experience, people that we know, cancer, reproductive issues, neurological issues, behavioral issues, all of these lead back to the fact that our bodies are overburdened by the toxins that we come into contact with on a daily basis.
I read that by the time you take a shower and get ready to go to work or go to school in the morning, after you layer the shampoo, the conditioner, the deodorant, the perfume, the makeup, most women walk out wearing 200 to 300 chemicals. That is just absolutely frightening to me.
Frightens me even more is recent studies that have been done on the umbilical cord blood of newborn babies, finding hundreds of chemicals in their bodies before they're even born. So the scope of the issue of toxicity is much larger than many of us are aware of, which is why it's my passion to educate people about this. And sometimes I'm not sure if it's just because it's on my radar and I see this in my inbox and I'm noticing these things, but it seems to me that more and more media outlets are really highlighting the fact that there are so many toxins. And there are a lot of headlines in the news that you see all the time. Oh, your mattress is toxic, your carpet is toxic. It's very easy to get so scared of all of these things that we're hearing and feel like you need to just replace everything or ignore it all and say, you know, well, everything's toxic, everything's giving me cancer, so why should I even start? But I think that there are great places to start, and that's what I like to share with people, resources that can help you to identify which are the most toxic products that you have and what are some simple changes that you can make in your routines and the products that you use that will have a big impact. So I agree with you, products that we're putting on our body directly. The average woman in America puts 12 different products on their skin before they even leave the door. So taking a look at what is going on your skin, which is our largest organ and a direct connection to all the other systems in our body, is very important to look into. So a resource I like to share with people, there is a list that's available. It's called the Never List. You can Google it, and it lists out over 1,500 different chemicals, and it's divided into categories, which makes it easier to begin to kind of dissect the products that you're putting on your skin and if they have any of those categories of ingredients that are known to be toxic, cancer-causing, hormone-disrupting, or to cause skin sensitivities and other issues. And other places to start would be using resources like the Environmental Working Group is one that I really love to share with people. They are responsible for the Clean 15 and the Dirty Dozen with produce, so many people are aware of that. They make decisions about what they decide to buy organic or conventional based on the levels of pesticides and chemicals in these fruits and vegetables. It's updated each year. But the Environmental Working Group also creates lists and databases that share healthier alternatives for cleaning products. They have an app called the Healthy Living app that you can put on your phone, and at the grocery store you can scan beauty products, cleaning products, even processed foods that are on the shelves of the grocery store to see the level of toxicity. So that's a place that you can begin to look for more information.
But what else can somebody do? Some very simple steps.
I think that just having a consciousness and an awareness that unfortunately we are not as protected as we often believe we are in this country. People assume, my clients and people that I speak to on a regular basis assume that if you buy it on the shelves of the store, it must be safe. So I think the first step is just being aware that we are buying products every day and we're putting them on our bodies or giving them to our children, surrounding ourselves with them, and there are many unsafe ingredients that aren't regulated in the products that we use. So having that awareness can then lead us to get that education and also to be critical consumers. So it's very easy for big companies to slap labels on their products that say natural, organic, safe, pure, and Americans are buying them like crazy, but not always looking at the ingredients and whether or not those labeling kind of tactics are actually true. And especially when it comes to cleaning products and products that we put on our bodies, there is no regulation about what those labels have to mean. Very different than the food industry, where if you say something is organic or you say something is USDA approved, that there are steps that those companies have to go through to get that certification. It's not the case with other products that we surround ourselves with or that we put on our bodies. To know.
I know you mentioned that you had a booklet that you were sharing with your clients that's free of charge to help them get started on this path. Can you tell us about that?
Sure. I have a workbook that I've created called Clean Living 101, and it starts with a questionnaire that really helps you to identify what are the highest areas of toxicity in your life that you might want to start and target. And then there are some simple tips on things that you can do in each of those areas. So for example, if your space, your home environment is the area that is turning up to be the most toxic for you, then what are some really easy things that you can do in your home to make those changes?
Oh, thank you, Emily.
Absolutely.
That was really some amazing information that I think all of us can really benefit from. And
you.
the dedication that you have. I know how passionate you are about this topic and about making a difference in people's homes and in their toxic levels. So thank you for that.
Thank you for the opportunity to be here.
I am really excited that Pivy is with us today, because I know that having an organized space can truly have a humongous impact on our overall mood and our energy. So as a professional organizer and interior designer, what are some of the energetic or emotional connections that one feels based on your space? How is that reflected in your space?
Well, certainly frustration, guilt, irritation, even self-worth feeling are lowered. Since everything is energy, we feel the energies of the items, and in this case, if it's very unorganized and items are piling up, the energies and the mixed messages, they are piling on us and creating irritability and just draining our energies lower than they should be.
So I wasn't imagining it.
No,
I was
that
truly
is
feeling
that is
a
fact.
reflection of my disorganized space. Okay, just wanted to clear that up. Well, what makes it so difficult then? If our energy is being disrupted and it's causing us so much stress, why is it so difficult for us to just get it done, get it organized? Why is it so hard?
It is because we have feelings and memories. All our items are some part of our past or presence, and they have either positive or less positive messages and memories in our minds. And some of us maybe even keep them because of their cash value, or they have been in family for a long time. They may be items that you think that you're supposed to have as in this phase in your life, or there are so many reasons. It is really a need of take a step back and look at your personal space and think that, am I happy in this one? Is this the story I want to be living in and showing to others, or do I need to start doing something about it? And that's the decision to do something is the main step to start.
So I think you have to weigh the frustration and the overwhelm and the irritability that comes along with being disorganized versus the sentimental value and attachment that we give these items. And I think that's where we get that friction and that tug of war, and we just throw up our hands and say, okay, I don't want to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll deal with it tomorrow, or deal with it another day. I know for me, I don't know how it's happened, but when I moved into my home, it was a larger home than the one I used to live in. And I didn't have a garage in my previous home. I didn't have an attic. And somehow, magically, poof, within 11 years, both my garage and my attic are just absolutely filled to the brim. I don't know how it happened, but I scratch my head and wonder, how do I scale back? And it happens so gradually. Someone gives you something, you go to a yard sale, an estate sale, it's like, I have to have that. You start collecting things. And now trying to reverse that is very, very challenging.
That is very true. Living organized gives you a feeling that you are in control of your life. Many times we are busy and also feeling that we can't affect how the life is going or the incidents happening to us. Organizing just maybe a drawer or your cupboard or something gives you a feeling that you are, as a matter of fact, in control of your life and your decisions. So it helps in that. Certainly it also feels good to hear compliments that, oh, when you get visitors, that your space is always so neat and tidy and it's so comfortable and inviting. That gives a boost to your self-confidence. And of course, you have more time to enjoy life when you don't need to be bouncing in between the negative energies of too much stuff.
That's so true. And what would you recommend to make organizing easier?
I like to divide items in fours, like 4 elements. In organizing case, I like to divide them in 4 W's. It is why, what, when, and where. And why is the most important thing. We have to decide first, why are we organizing? Is it because there is just too many items and you can't find what you're seeking? You have maybe health concerns. You're either dipping or tripping in items, or you're having too much to clean. You can't get the dust away. And the second W is what. You have to decide what we are going to organize. Instead of taking a whole garage or whole bedroom or closet, you may want to take one smaller item. And I often advise to start as a small project like a cupboard or a drawer, and take a time, reserve maybe 20 minutes and see how much you get done, just to make sure that you are not taking too much on your plate. And number 3 is when. I recommend you to save or reserve time in your calendar. Make half an hour shifts first to begin with, and then I would recommend not more than 2 hours at a time, and make also set also a reminder to remind you that now you have first like 15 minutes left, and you can collect the items together and decide that, all right, this area may need some more work, but at least you are not overwhelming yourself. The 4th W would be where, and this is also very important to make sure that you have the places where your items are going if they are not staying in the space. So whether they are going to recycle or consignment store, you're donating them. There's maybe something just going to garbage. So have those bags or boxes labeled and ready to go. And after your project, after you have been done with your time, just take them away from that space so their energies are not any longer lingering there, and you can really see the result, what you got to do.
Oh, thank you so much, Päivi. These steps are very easy to follow, and I think there's something that even I can implement, so I can start tackling some of those projects that I think are overwhelming at this point. But if I break it down the way you suggested, they're very manageable. So thank you for that. We have addressed the importance of having a toxic-free environment, a clean and organized living space. But what if we took that just a step further and created a healing space? Catherine, I know that you have a very interesting perspective on this and a very broad background where you design with vibrational energy, harmony, and sustainability. Why is it that these elements are so important today?
In our lives today in North America, we live very frenetic, busy lives. Often we feel overwhelmed. Stress is one of the leading problems in health and the lack of health. When you create a sanctuary space, when you create a space that is full of restorative elements, it can calm the nervous system. Many of us, even children today, our nervous systems are completely overloaded. Mm-hmm. I myself had that experience from toxic exposure being in the building industry, and my nervous system needed to relax and calm down. So just like Emily and Päivi, who are talking about organization, I was unable to do a 5-step process to cook food when I had shingles in my brainstem. If I had to put the groceries away, clean the dishes, and then cut the vegetables and make the food, I would starve before I could do that because I had shingles in my brainstem. So as a design professional, I had to find a way to restore my nervous system and to eliminate toxins. Then you can realize the benefits of, well, what happens if I lived in a restorative environment instead of one that was that was not so.
So what does autopoiesis mean? I know that's your company, but that word, it's so powerful. What does that translate to as far as the work that you're doing and designing a living, healing space?
Yeah. So my husband is my partner in our business, and he studied complexity and chaos theory. And the term autopoiesis was created by Chilean biologists. Autopoiesis means self-creating, making, and harmony with living systems. My husband is a scientist, and we've been able to look at how products are made, what the supply chain is the environment harmed, or can you benefit the environment through design or through design of making of products. In our company, we have been able to not only specify materials that are non-toxic, but we found over the years we moved from non-toxic to actually living. But it was a game changer. In 2007, we said, we want to design in harmony with life, everything. My most favorite project that I like to discuss is the Fruhoff House. Dr. Heiner Fruhoff and Sharon Fruhoff combined their beings in subtle energy. Sharon is extremely adept at studying at energy, feeling energy, working with energy, and Heiner is a classical Chinese scholar. And we came together to design their house with an architect who specialized in sacred geometry. And it was a real education for me to realize that the design of the space and the materiality can be completely transformative. And in this house, it's a clinic as well as a retreat center. So chronically ill patients come here. So I couldn't just take reclaimed material out of the Columbia River that was old growth wood because it has sediments that are toxic. I could harvest new wood from a forest. But what's amazing is we got into biodynamic timber harvest, where we could harvest a tree in the fall when there was no more sap and the water had moved out of the tree, the subsurface water flows had moved out, and the tree itself, when we harvested, was going to be less susceptible for fire, and it was more alive. And so we were able to, in that house, combine the subtle energy and the vibration of everything that we did. We even, Heiner created a huge vat of herbs and water, and he dipped reed mats to sequester the toxins when they're imported, and they spray and they fumigate so no bugs come into the country. He sequestered the toxins so that he sort of purified the building materials. When it came to designing with the electrical systems, we had everything above the heart that we could so that it wouldn't interfere with the actual heart. So whether or not we recognize it, the body the skin is the way that we actually experience all the vibration in the world. And the most calming thing to the nervous system is to actually build with clay. And so their house is the largest Leichlenbau structure in North America. And one of the more moving moments was when the Timber Framers Guild of North America was meeting on the West Coast, and they wanted to tour the building. And we went in, and it was a rainy day, and they came into the mudroom, and they took off their shoes, and all of a sudden there's this, there's a big exhale because you can finally relax, because the clay holds you, and your skin can, and your body can just kind of relax. And then if you're still, if you create a stillness to your environment, in that particular building, I've heard the blood moving through my heart.
Wow.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine creating an environment where you can relax after you've driven home, or sat in your car for 60 minutes, or sat in front of a computer most of the day, or engaged with people all the time? So I think that we undervalue the benefits of the calmness and the stillness in the choices that we make in our homes and our workplaces.
That's incredible information. It's so valuable, and now it can give us something to really think about. Some of the elements that really can impact how we feel, and creating a healing environment is really possible. I love that, Catherine. But how would one create, if we don't have an architect like yourself to design this type of space, how would we create balance and harmony in our home? What are some simple steps that we can take?
Yeah. Anytime you're repainting a room or you want to change the finish in a room, you can think about color and the vibration of color. So in the Northwest, I never use white. It tends to go to gray. If you look at the latitude where we are, you can take your color chips and you can even do a test patch and see, how it feels in the room. Another simple thing that you can do is with the finishes that you use in your house, I like to combine beeswax and essential oils to take care of wood, and even it's my wooden spoons. It's the wooden things in my kitchen as well as the furniture that I have. And those are really easy ways to bring the aromas into your environment and to take care of and tend. I think that's one thing that I could add is this process of I am making it and it is making me. That how we live in our house is a journey. It's a process and not just a task I have to do it. So how can that meditation of rubbing beeswax into your furniture or into a wooden spoon that you use be something that restores you instead of, I have to get this done so I can cook and make a meal. But how can you bring that quality into your home?
That is amazing. I love this concept, and I think that the work you're doing is so incredible, and you're truly an inspiration.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
I'm really grateful to all of you ladies for sharing your expertise, the time that you spent with me today, and for sharing these important insights that I know our viewers are really going to value, and that's going to improve the quality of our lives, and improve our mood, improve our environment, and really make an impact for the better. So thank you ladies once again for joining me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
To learn more about natural solutions, to receive a complimentary wellness consultation, or to obtain free resources by any of the guests on the show today, please email me. Living a healthy, organized, inspired life takes effort and dedication. Remember, what you put on your body, in your body, and around your body will truly influence your emotional, mental, and physical state. The beauty is you have control and the power to make positive changes. Start small and take a few steps. I invite you to begin today. You can experience more tranquility, better health, and greater joy if you decide that's what you want more of in your life. The secret is to make a decision and then take action. You're worth it. Isn't it time to reveal the beautiful pearl within you?